Hello, welcome to the pod. This is our podcast. Today's episode continues on a topic called Battle of the Cosmos. This is a big idea theory chat topic today, taking a bit of science, health psychology, public health into consideration, and a little bit of philosophy. Now, I found this idea so fascinating, and you might want to cycle back to some of our previous episodes to get an introduction into this topic, Battle of the Cosmos, for more context. Today's episode follows through with a different visualization on the application of this theory, what it would look like in real terms. You can think of it like fiction if you think it's too far-fetched of an idea, and that's not a problem. For a little visual, you can consider what this looks like in my mind. And it really dives into the fact that stars are born from pressure, athletes are created through repetition, companies rise through innovation, individuals transform through challenge. The battle of the cosmos is not about destruction, as you might imagine. It's actually all about evolution. This idea popped into my mind when I was getting ready to do a podcast interview. And then I thought, there's so much chaos in the world, so much misunderstanding. A lot of these problems might never, ever really truly get solved because there isn't one world leader, there are several. There are several ways of doing things, there are several cultures, and there are several languages that humans speak all across the board. It is very difficult to think all humans on this planet will agree on the same thing, except maybe a few fundamentals. Like, for example, all humans will agree we all need to drink water and stay hydrated, otherwise, we're going to die. And as a nutritionist, I might say, well, ideally, for you, you ought to be drinking half of your body weight in ounces per day. And then we will say, well, we can definitely all agree on that. Okay, so the fun idea is this is a world stage, and if the global conflicts had a schedule like the World Cup, would you buy tickets? Would you schedule it on your TV to watch? Would you actually attend this as an event? And I got the idea further because of the World Cup season where it's so fun, lively. It's lovely to see the world gather. And even at the offices, we're putting on the game after work and having that office lively experience. That culture brings people together and it creates a really cool work culture. And then also, if you went to any of the live games, you would have felt that live and direct. And the closing ceremony, the final, was amazing. Super cool how the whole production came together. Everything was so well organized, and you can tell that there was a great amount of detail paid to give that level of performance and organization. It was so well done. I was very impressed that I thought there's so many other events that we could be capturing at such a high level that the world would probably want to see. Now, some of us are here just for the entertainment. Some of us take it a little more seriously. Some of us are the athletes, and some of us are the sponsors. Some of us are the owners of the sports teams. Some of us are the performers in the entertainment. Some of us are the owners of the stadium. Some of us are the commentators. Some of us have different roles. So there's a lot of roles to play in such a big event. And to have that level of organization through an entire season. Now, imagine one morning you waking up, and instead of seeing a confusing headline that says tensions escalate overnight, you see Global Debate Night. This is the topic. It is at 8 p.m. on this day, Thursday at 8 p.m. The matchup is between country A and country B. The topic is about trade, borders, energy, and security. We are having it out live. The world can watch. You can vote on your opinion from a poll that you will be sent through text message with A, B, C, or D, so that we get some data on what you think about this discussion. Of course, we get to decide the final say so or next steps, but each person who shows up to watch gets to put in their vote on a simple polling system for data purposes. The moderator is the independent global panel, and there will be a live audience of 2 billion people. This is my kind of fun, right? I think this is very fun. I think it's a brilliant idea because, like, let's say you see the news in your Apple News or wherever you get your news from, or if you've put on your TV at 7 o'clock every night, there are a lot of stories that pop up through the week. I like to follow Bloomberg News to keep up with that kind of news too. My mom watches ESPN News. I look at Apple News. Then there's The Economist for subscriber news. And all in all, there are many different exclusive information flows, and then there are the free public information flows when it comes to media. But if there was 1 or 2 nights a week where there were the main stuff happening, where you know that this is happening on a live stage and a big decision will be made, it's a little more exciting. Now, before anyone panics, it's not the idea of turning wars into entertainment. No, it's not that, because we understand the dynamics of wars and there are real bad news stories happening around the world. So it's not about turning that into entertainment, because nobody wants a conflict league with souvenir jerseys, snack commercials, or commentator shouting, and they've changed their position in the 78th minute. But there's something worth exploring. What if the world had a more organized, transparent, and scheduled way to watch important global disagreements unfold? The problem, the world's biggest events have the worst scheduling. And also, people are not invited to vote. Humanity has perfected scheduling. We schedule sport championships, concerts, elections, product launches, movie premieres, business conferences. We even know months in advance when a championship game is going to happen. But some of the most important conversations affecting millions of lives often happen through emergency press conferences, late night announcements, leaked documents, social media arguments, confusing statements from different sides. The average person is left thinking, wait, what really happened? Who said what? Is this serious? Why did nobody explain this before breakfast? Introducing the Global Dialogue Championship, a fictional future model. The GDC, Global Dialogue Championship, a structured international communication plan with a platform where nations, political groups, and experts discuss major issues through scheduled public forums. Not a fight, not a reality show, not a celebrity boxing diplomatic edition, a serious global conversation format. How does it work? Well, there's a monthly global agenda. So at the beginning of a year, there's January with a topic. For example, the future of the planet. The topics include climate, energy, water resources, industry, the planet showdown. Maybe it's an introduction into what's happening with all the resources around the world. How are the resources currently being developed, preserved, farmed, stored? What are the levels of resources? What data do we have? What is the data update on everything? The Earth is in the center. The leaders are on opposite sides. The scientists are in the middle. For a little visual. Then it's February, the economy arena. The topics: trade, inflation, global markets, supply chains. Who owns the future economy? A globe connected by golden financial lines. As the image. March, the Technology Summit. Topics: AI, the future of robotics, cybersecurity, how to keep your digital footprint safe and secure, how to avoid frauds and identity thieves online. Make sure that your bank online is safe and protected from thieves. Innovation. Stay up to date with the latest technologies that make your life more efficient. Human versus machines, or humans with machines for a better human experience. The future debate. Human silhouette with just humans, maybe even humans aging fast, versus humans with technology like anti-aging through applying education and generating more wealth. April, the Health and Humanity Forum. Topics: healthcare systems, research, global preparedness, the next health challenge, doctors, scientists, a world map. May, the security conversation. Topics: defense, international cooperation. What's happening with spring when the ice melts? Can the world find a common ground? Two sides meet at a negotiation table. June, the Culture Championship. Topics: education, the arts, cultural exchange, architecture, building global urban infrastructure. The world's best ideas. People from different countries connected through creativity, engineering, and skill. Let's say after that as an example the of what it would look like to plan. Then there's a structure of how the show unfolds. For example, let's say it becomes one episode a month on Netflix, or it becomes live on YouTube, or an independent news broadcaster that you're subscribed to. Then there's an opening ceremony for 10 minutes. And the host explains the issue, gives a little background, maybe like how you see in those football games with the hosts and they chat on the microphones at like a cool desk. And you might see some of the arena or the venue as like introduction and giving context, chatting about players or professionals or athletes, whoever's going to be like in the event, the background. And then there's the issue, the participants, the rules, and the goals, so that everybody understands the structure of how the discussion will unfold. Maybe they're even referees, and if things are said that are not allowed, then the referee has to, make sure that people are not talking over each other, getting too heated in emotion, and it's more like really regulated, but that is the athleticism of it all. Round one, each side explains, well, would we believe this? And we believe X, Y, and Z. There are no interruptions, no shouting, no dramatic table flipping. Round two, the evidence. The experts enter, they're scientists, economists, researchers, humanitarian organizations, because facts deserve a seat at the table and we need research and data. And then just if they really want to take it to the sports arena to have it out, they can choose between 5 sports where the conversation continues on a golf course. And through that whole long day and process, continuing conversations are also recorded that are then published on the time. Because some conversations require about a week to really unfold, maybe even longer, when it's like that depth with decision making. Or maybe they do want to wrestle it out with some martial arts, or maybe they want to go sailing, or maybe they want to take some other sport, right? And then round 3 is the solution challenge. So each team has a challenge that by a certain time, there must be a brainstorm of 5 best solutions. With these 5 best solutions, either the public gets to vote on what they think, but also there'll be a structure on top that will make the best decision based on the rules and the outline of how it works. And each side answers, well, what is your practical solution? And that's where the real competition begins, because you're competing to see who has the best possible solution, and it has to be sustainable but also lucrative. The final round is the public summary, and each side must explain what should the world understand. And after these decisions are made, we get data on how many people voted for A, B, C, or D. The humor factor to make it entertaining, it's making serious topics human. A major problem with global politics is that it often feels dehumanizing, desensitized, distant, complicated. A little humor can make difficult topics easier to understand. If there's one thing that I love that I learned, it is, as a scientist, how to take the most complex ideas and make it so simple that a 10th grader could understand, or a fifth grader. The diplomatic scoreboard. So imagine, right? It's not who defeated who, but there's a clarity score, an evidence used metric, solution quality measure, and respect level. On clarity, there's a 5-star approach. You can put your star rating. You get 4 stars, 5 stars. There's 5 stars that you can put together for each of those categories, and then you see based on the scoreboard. This is a playful but meaningful way to encourage better communication. Because let's just say that the next step of evolution for humans is very proficient communication skills. Maybe that is where everybody actually is. Maybe that's everybody's biggest problem, communication skills. The Global Debate Awards categories: Best Explanation, Most Creative Solution, Most Lucrative Solution, Best Use of Evidence, Best Listener Award, Actually Answered the Question Award. Because sometimes the greatest achievement in politics is simply answering the question asked. Every episode gets a consistent global brand, design styled, earth in the background, global white and premium branding, 2 sides facing each other, central symbol of dialogue, clear episode topic, and the examples could be the energy showdown, GPT or Claude or Gemini or Grok in sales and revenue. Who's buying what? Is AI a friend or a competitor? The future of food. Can leaders agree? Why could this matter? The goal is not to make conflict entertaining. These conversations are already happening. They are already important, and people are already stressed enough. Nobody wants to be in a position that's going to make their health even worse. Health is one of those priorities that everybody cares about moving forward. And in having a healthier way to do things, this metric is a really effective solution. The goal is to make important conversations easier to follow, more transparent for what is the required information that the audience actually needs to know, more accountability, because accountability really allows people to perform at another level. That it's like having constructive criticism. You don't want too much, and you want it given with a little sprinkle of sugar on top or to be sweetened. But if you could have, and timing is important too, but if you could have a little feedback from like a really high level expert referral to make your performance that much better, then that accountability will take you there. And when you look back a year ago, you'll think, wow, I actually did so well, and I'm so grateful I had that accountability because it made me look good. even though it was challenging and it was hard, that accountability served me so well, it's hard to dismiss it. And more educational. A person should not need a political science degree to understand what a leader is discussing, and then to think, well, who should really care about that? Is it that you only want the men in the world to care about these conversations and that the women are just doing home stuff with the kids? Or do you want women to be part of this conversation with their husbands and the men in their life because this is what makes a better society? It's interesting to observe because it's the reason why a lot of the scripts or conversations are directed in the way that they are intentionally to serve more of the masculine linguistics? Or is it that there is a language that can unify the masculine and the feminine to have more understanding with a healthier conversation around a topic? So the bigger idea is, I mean, some women might find this extremely boring too, and that's fine. And therefore, if it stays in a men's arena because women find it boring, that's understandable. Sports created a global language. A football match can be watched by billions of people who speak different languages and come from all different cultures. Why, might you ask? Because the rules are clear. That is the only thing that matters. Are the rules clear? Is it easy to understand? Because then people will participate. Having expectations that someone will participate when there are no clear rules is silly, in my opinion. When the format is clear, the purpose is clear, maybe the future of diplomacy needs some of that clarity. And not competition through destruction of it's a battlefield. I'm gonna bomb your country and I'm gonna destroy your land and I'm gonna steal this and I'm gonna kill this and I'm gonna destroy this. And I guess that's how boys are raised. I don't have a son, I don't have children, but I do see my friends with their sons, and I have brothers, so I've grown up around the masculine, you know. I have men in my world, in my family, where men are brought up with trucks and guns and action figures and video games like Call of Duty and killing, and I'm not sure how that evolves, but learning safety and protection is a good skill that comes from that, but not to the extent of being overly destructive, right? Or overly competitive that you are completely dehumanized and desensitized to all human emotions, unless you're going in the war to fight for your country and serve, and you will be killing people and you will be doing war things and you will be serving as a military person. That's a whole different type of human than the average boy or man in this world. But more so that there's a section that's not necessarily focused on destruction, but more so construction, building, urban infrastructure, making things, using that masculine manpower to use technology and robotics to build more buildings that are well designed, put together some agricultural farming solutions, maybe even find a way to monetize recycling that cleans up the planet. Find ways to monetize these new technological advances that have a profound impact on our life, where we can see it happen in our lifetime, because technology can move at such a rapid pace that is putting robotics and technology to good use while giving humans the opportunity to invest, to be able to profit and generate income as a new form of currency or finance, where it's simple to buy organics and organic food and have everything delivered, and to be able to invest into these technologies that give us what we need, but also fill up our bank accounts and make us wealthy and healthy and thriving. So it's not competition through destruction. It's more like, let's compete through ideas. How good is your idea? Because I'm gonna tell you mine. Let's compete here. And perhaps the one big day, and it's, let's not compete to say, oh, who's the better girl, or who's prettier, or who's skinnier, or who has this man, or I want to steal this from you. That is not the kind of competition people who are thriving operate at. It's not a fight for stealing other people's resources, because that's just low and that is just unproductive. And it gives a resonance of tackiness to it. It's more so you compete to thrive, to grow an economy, to put your skills to use, to make a better world, to give some sort of value, to bring an idea worth producing, to bring an idea worth listening to bring an idea worth investing into. That is a real competition. And perhaps one day, the biggest global events will not be breaking news, another crisis. Perhaps it will be tonight at 8 p.m., the world meets to solve one of these big problems. You can even vote on what you think the best solution will be. Winner gets 10 million US in grant funding. No missiles, no confusion, no midnight panic. Just leaders, experts, citizens, ideas, and one global stage. Because the greatest championship humanity could ever win is not defeating each other and blowing up the planet Earth and extracting all of the resources into making an ugly world for people to live in. It is capturing the beauty of the world, preserving it, allowing it to thrive, allowing more beauty to thrive, allowing the planet to breathe and to flourish, and for the air to flow clean and the trees to keep us cool with their strong roots. It's for the water to flow the way it's supposed to and calm the earth and be recycled into drinking water for us. And for the fires to be contained and for fire to be put to really good use for what it's meant for. When it comes to the world's resources, what can be done with these resources in the best possible way? Compete on that. Make it exciting. There's so many geeks on this planet So many nerds and geeks and intellectuals who graduate with honors from Oxford and Cambridge and Harvard and have all of these degrees just for decoration, who get bored out of their minds as a normal married person. Can you imagine this sort of idea generation funding project that gets all of the funding to do something cool for fun because you are fulfilling your familial roles. You're doing well as a parent, as a husband, wife, and you have a little extra in you that you feel something's missing, like you need a little purpose or project or something to feel like you contribute, to feel like this is worth more to me than getting smashed every weekend or escaping or running from a life or getting overweight or staying stagnant. There's something a little more I could be doing, and I'm very happy to be connected with others on this level playing field, for example. So it's no midnight panic, just leaders, experts, citizens, and ideas on one global stage. It's learning how to build the future strategically, keeping only the agreed team members, no loose cannons and invaders that you don't want on your team, no randoms that you've never met, whom are aligned, grouped for purpose, get along well, and remove all the others in the way of the projects moving forward or disrupting the flow. And this is what is so much fun about the world stage in terms of battle of the cosmos. Okay, because when human limits are challenged, it's natural to get a little pushback. But if you are the kind of person who really wants to grow and you want to push yourself to your next level, maybe it is your health and nutrition that you need to focus on advancing for more energy. Or in having a coach, we have all agreed that the best companies in the world hire the best consultants and coaches for a reason, because it brings results. It helps everybody to grow. It connects humans with the right tools and technology to advance, and everybody does well on the next trajectory ahead. We have about one more of these episodes from this topic. This was a real main concept for you to visualize. And I was really excited about this topic because I find it fun and interesting as something to consider. If it's too far-fetched for you and it's too much of a big idea, I totally get it. And that's why I will position it for now in the fiction category so that you can digest it a little easier. Now, moving forward, behind everything in terms of technology, just remember that there are humans. And while we have a variety of humans, if you think about it from a socioeconomic perspective, there are different levels of sensitivities. Our diets also play a huge role in how sensitive we are. For example, you might notice that there's certain ways of eating that clog your mindset or numb your body to a lot of your sensitivity. You might be eating a very heavy diet that that doesn't make you as sensitive to people who eat more of a plant-based diet. And there's no weakness in being a sensitive person because there are different types of humans existing on this planet. It is interesting to understand that we have different levels of sensitivity as there are 8 billion people in this world. And having respect for people is important. Having respect and tolerance is important. Having a level of diplomacy in relationships is important. Having a level of healthy communication, boundaries, and applying a deep-rooted foundation for understanding are all important. Your takeaway message is to consider what are some ways you would like to have a healthier habit in your life, and what is one vice or pattern of behavior or mindset that you would like to completely let go of today. Until next time, this was Battle of the Cosmos in this episode from the podcast. Remember to like and subscribe.